traveler. The forest around him gave way to unattended farmland as the sun dipped ever lower, casting a reddish tint across the clouded sky and throwing long shadows over unharvested crops. Haldric rode on, soaked in sweat and mud and blood splattering his cloak, and probably smelling like death. That was his lot in life. No Stamm, no family, nothing but the road ahead, the path he had chosen 2 decades ago, and he walked it head held high and knives sharp, going after the men and women who came for him and his, long ago. So long, in fact, that the rest of the world had forgotten them, but not Haldric. He remembered it well. He rode over golden farmlands, entering the killing field. The earth was scorched and barren, a canvas of old burn scars, a testament to many sieges and raids, a testament to the city's defenses. The same Stamm held Almenthal and the surrounding area for the last 150 years, repelling inland raids and neighboring kingdoms alike. Blood feuds ran deep and long in the Travailed Empire, and each raiding season raised the question of who and when, and not if, would show up at Almenthal's gates. And Haldric didn't plan on sticking around and finding out. The guards at the massive wooden gates shifted as he approached. The Stamm guard studied him, gauging weight, posture, and threat. The Imperial Guard barely looked up from their card game. "Hold," said the gray-haired Stamm guard. Haldric pulled on the reins, just outside reach. "What brings you here?" the man asked. His spear held loose, shoulders and back relaxed, feet planted wide. A killer's stance. Haldric patted his horse's neck. "Other than that." "Traveling east," Haldric said. "What for?" "That's my business," Haldric said. "Just passing through then?" "I'm here to restock, spend a night, or 2, and be on my way again." "Dismount," the man ordered, looking at the horse. "Your horse looks weak." "It's been a long ride," Haldric dismounted. The man narrowed his eyes. "Horse won't last." "You buying another?" "No, and don't have the coin." "What is your Stamm?" A Wappensiegel and an oath to cover the cost would be accepted here. "None," he said. "A Freiden?" Haldric nodded. The man's stance and demeanor shifted, becoming less wary, more welcoming. He handed his spear over and stepped forward, hands spread wide. "You're a killer. So are you." "True." He got even closer, eyeing him up and down, studying Haldric's stance, his stature, and his eyes. "We could use you for the upcoming raid season." Haldric said nothing. "You could join our Stamm, regain purpose and oaths in life." Haldric remained silent, the scar across his gut throbbing. "You don't talk much, do you?" "Only when it matters." The man smiled. It looked almost fatherly. It made Haldric want to slit his throat. "Attend the Stamm Council tonight. If nothing else, you will get a free meal and a drink." Free meal, Haldric thought. The last Stamm meeting. So early? "Not interested. We'd give you time. Let you finish whatever business brought you here first." "Still not interested. The raid season will be upon us soon." "Do you really wish to travel Drevland alone?" "Without extended protection offered by the Stamm, I've managed." "You wouldn't start low. You are no farmhand or an ostler. A skilled soldier like you could climb the ranks fast. Become a child here within a few years. Join the Adelbund. Live the good life. A good wife. Kids. Clean clothes." Haldric's eye twitched. He saw the men on horseback again. The burning villa. His father on his knees. Rage ignited in his gut, and with it, the pink scar across his abdomen flared up, pulsing and radiating heat through his whole body. "Nothing to say?" Haldric remained silent. "Come to the meeting and tell them Sigric sent you." "Let him in," the man called, a fatherly smile still on his lips, and a softness in his eyes Haldric had seldom seen, at least in the last 2 decades. The gates before him groaned, grinding against the stone as they slowly swung open. Haldric walked through, entering the bustling city. The stench of sweat, fish, meat, oil, and dung hit him like a slap. Unwashed bodies pressing from all directions, making his skin crawl. Haldric pushed his way to an open stall at the edge of the market, the butcher. Skinned carcasses, smoked meat, sausages, and more hung in the open, displayed for potential customers. And there were quite a few. Some 7 people stood in line as the old man behind the stall argued with an even older customer. Haldric turned away, studying the flow of men and women. Most seemed hurried. He frowned, eyes scanning the crowd, seeing no apparent reason for their unease. His was caused by the mass of people around him and the lit and open space he was forced into. But they lived like that. So that couldn't be the reason. And besides, most of them didn't look uncomfortable, just hurried. All but the man watching him from above. It would seem his shadow caught up. "Oi!" said a gruff voice next to him. Haldric turned to see the line part for him. "You only buying?" the old man behind the counter asked. Haldric nodded. "Come to the side." The man turned. "Boy, take over!" A youth of maybe 12 poked over the counter, blonde hair cut short, and eyes wide and scared. "Come on, we don't have much time." "He too?" Haldric asked himself, making his way over to the right side of the stall. "Here, here!" The man tapped a wooden board. "What will it be?" Haldric studied the meats displayed. He pointed at the sausages. "Your tongue works?" the man asked. "It works." "Speak then." "Got nothing to say." The man looked him up and down. "What else?" "Striped venison jerky," Haldric said, eyeing the rooftop. He was gone. "Is that all?" Haldric nodded. 6 silver coins. Haldric's eyes narrowed. Not because he knew what a bundle of sausages and striped venison jerky was worth, but because he knew vendors. They would underbuy their mother and oversell their father. "Fine, 4 silver and no lower. If you give me the information I need, and something else." The man's eyes narrowed. "Okay. You all seem to be in a hurry. Why is that?" "Tonight is the last Stamm meeting before the raiding season." Haldric nodded. His guess had been right. Free drinks and feast for all but the Weirdbrook. Not that they would be allowed into the city in the first place. Even a lowly farmhand would attend. And Haldric had an invitation. Perfect. "I'm looking for a place to spend the night. What parts of the city should I avoid?" "The northern section, especially by the old wells," the man said. "Criminals?" Haldric asked, eyes scanning the crowd. "Imperial territory, no Stamm patrols. Bands, abandoned buildings, unseen banvolk." "You understand." Haldric understood it well, better than most. The banvolk, the oath-bound men and women in debt to the Stamm or the Empire, had limited opportunities to pay off their debts, be they blood or coin-related, pushing more desperate men into criminal bands, towing a thin line between oaths and outcasts, between being Weirdbrook, the outlawed oath-breakers, and the banvolk, the indebted, and just the type of people he could always count on to act in their own best interest, the type to ignore a screaming man, even if it lasted for hours. "Is that all?" the man asked, his impatience growing. "I have customers and have to attend the meeting. One last thing." "Yes?" The man placed 4 stripes of salted and smoked meat on the counter, about 1 inch wide and 40 inches long, stripes of venison jerky. It made his stomach growl. "I need cleaning supplies. Where can I buy some?" 7 stalls down, but you should hurry." Haldric nodded, leaving the coin and taking his food, pushed deeper into the market, elbowing and ducking his way to the small stall manned by a woman. She was around his age, but she looked a lot younger than he did. Not living on the road does that to people. She looked him up and down. Disgust and fear flashed over her face before a neutral smile replaced them. Haldric didn't flinch. He grabbed 2 bars of soap and rags, dropped the silver coin, and left without a word. North, towards the Stammless part of the city. and his shadow followed. He stood on the tallest building in the northern section of the city, waiting and watching the Banfolk lit fires as the night finally settled over the Almenthal. Did I lose him again? Haldric thought, scanning the streets below. He hadn't tried, but maybe he gave the man too much credit. Maybe I gave the rebellion too much credit, he thought, turning east to the Stamm house. The long and tall building made of stone and wood, a mixture of Stamm tradition and imperial architecture, it looked formidable. Dominating the eastern skyline of the city, someone grunted. Haldric turned to see Theodgar pulling himself up. Haldric watched him struggle. He watched him flop onto the roof like a corpse dropped. "Thank you for the help," the man muttered. Haldric remained silent, "and thank you for ditching me in Tarnfurt." "Took you long enough," Haldric said. "Did you miss me?" Theodgar stood. "And thank you for that mess you left me with." Haldric shook his head. "And yet you waited for me? You are a nuisance, best dealt with directly." "Deal then," the man smiled. A slow, dangerous smile. "What do you want?" Haldric asked. "Nothing. Grimhart's orders haven't changed." A deep, hollow pain spread through his chest at the mere mention of that name. But Haldric pushed it down. "Maybe you want to know that the soldier you killed had a family, had a life. Well, there is no reason for me to indulge this then," Haldric said, moving towards the edge of the building. "Planning on losing me again?" Haldric nodded, watching the windowsill below him, ready to jump. "I told them you were coming." Haldric stopped. "You can't just walk in." Haldric slowly turned, watching the man's smile turn menacing. "You know how much pain you caused me in the last 6 years?" Theodgar asked. "How much embarrassment? Every time I lose you, I have to reach out to the rest of the network, and none of them know you like I do. Grimhart understands it. So does the old man. They never say anything. Sure, they joke and laugh about your ability to disappear into shadows, but the others, they think me incompetent. They think me slow." Haldric stepped over the ledge, walking towards his shadow. "They mock me and ostracize me, doubt my abilities, all because you are unwilling to join us, unwilling to accept the fact that Grimhart will never give up." Haldric stopped half a step away, directly in his killing range. "And the bodies I must deal with. Why don't you just—" "This is the first and the last time," Haldric whispered. "What?" "I will kill you next time," he said, stepping back. "Consider my respect for Grimhart your lifesaver and your only warning. Let's end this then." Theodgar spread his hands, offering his ribs. Haldric shook his head, studying the windowsill again. "There is one thing you don't know," the man said. "Sigulf died 2 days ago." Haldric shrugged. That left him with only one target and a much easier and straightforward way of going about it. "No gratitude for the information?" Theodgar sneered. Haldric jumped down. Haldric sat on the roof. Firelight danced on the Stamm house exit below him. Men and women filed in and out, talking, laughing and shouting, living loud and proud, enjoying the last few weeks before the raid season started. He looked up at the big, bright yellow moon and the starless sky. That night had been starless too, when his home burned. When the earth gorged on the blood of his family, memories of that day floated in his mind's eye, making his scar itch and burn. No stars witnessed that night. No one to witness that massacre. Just like there was no one to watch him hunt this night. No one to witness him setting the world right. But he would. He always did. Arnhart finally stepped out, shouting something over his shoulder, dragging a woman in a revealing dress behind him. She didn't seem all too happy, but neither all too worried. Drink and desperation were poor companions. Haldric's eye twitched as the two crossed the street into the overly bright night. Away from the meeting and safety, Haldric ran over the shingled roof and let himself drop, grabbing the windowsill and pushing off. He rolled to a stop on a smaller house and ran over the straight roof. Stopping at the edge, Arnhart stood behind the woman, his pants down as he panted in pleasure. She leaned on the wall, head held low, grunting in pain, the coins still clutched in her hand. Arnhart grabbed the woman's hair and pulled back. She grunted, and he laughed, pounding harder. Haldric didn't let him finish. He dropped down behind them. Arnhart looked over his shoulder, grinned, and turned back to his work. Haldric moved swiftly, silently, shoulder dipping and fingers closing around the knife hilt. The knife slid across the man's neck. Arnhart grunted, stumbling back. Blood poured down his shirt. The woman screamed in horror, but Haldric was already gone, rolling up on a flat roof, eyes staring up at the skies, the red moon peeking out of its brother's shadow, casting eerie light over the world. Haldric lay there, staring at the starless sky, the bloody blade leaning against the tattooed skin. The knife bit into his skin, drawing blood, crossing out the sixth name of the fourth column. Pain spread like heat through his arm, blood bubbling up to the surface, and with it, the burning scar finally calmed, if only for a moment. Haldric sighed, letting himself enjoy the momentary peace, staring at the twin moons overhead. One yellow, one red, Grimheart's face floating in his mind's eye. You've just listened to The Traveler, a short story from my Kill List saga. I release new stories twice a week, with the Kill List saga and The Collapse running side by side. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And be sure to check out The Collapse for some zombie survival horror, laced with a bit of dark humor. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.